So I'd like to call the meeting to order, 6:32 p.m. Do you want a roll call, Carla? I have Stephen Frisk on the line, Rob Wright, Christina Wright, Rich Melanson from VCTV, Irvin Stoll, Carla Lumbra, Helen Holt, and myself, Crystal Mansfield. Sherwood Lake is also on the line. So for sort of business, I'd just like to have an approval of the minutes from our last meeting, which was July 28th.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes from the July 28th Select Board meeting signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. I think before we do the warrants, we should move to take the agenda out of order and invite members of the public, Craig Hunt and Sherwood Lake. Could I have a second there, please?
Second.
Okay, so gentlemen, I'm just wondering how you'd like to proceed. If you want to just speak a little bit about your interest in sitting on the select board, or if you'd like to do one at a time, both of you at the same time.
Crystal, I had some stuff both for COVID and for building security, so I'd go second to Craig. He's fine with me.
Okay. So Craig, welcome. Yeah. Can you hear us okay?
Craig? He's not on mute, so I don't.
Craig, do you have a chat? Do you have a, yeah, you have to unmute your microphone.
We have a pretty good thunderstorm as it sounds on the, coming to us. And I'm listening to it outside right now, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if he just dropped the connection. Carla, is it possible to have him call in on the phone?
Yeah, he does. He
have a phone number for him, unfortunately.
I just messaged him to see if he was here, or to see if he could hear, and that was in a chat, so I don't know. I guess maybe should Sherwood start speaking, and then maybe he will figure it out by calling back in.
Sounds good.
Well, while we're waiting for Craig, we could certainly have Sherwood speak to us. That feels okay.
That's
I believe he's calling in. Craig, is that you?
That is me.
Hi.
Okay, I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. Okay, there we go.
Okay,
I don't know whether
Can you hear us okay?
I can't hear you. Okay. I don't know whether I'm on the phone or on the Zoom here. So.
You're on both.
Yeah, you need to kill one.
Okay, how about if I kill the phone?
Well, we couldn't hear you on the computer, so do you want
Can
to?
you hear me now?
Yep.
You can. Okay, so I'm on the computer.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you see me?
No.
No. Okay, well, I don't know why that is. Anyway, yeah, I had understood that Will was resigning. I didn't know why. It's been a year and something since I've retired from being administrative assistant to the select board. I've tried to keep up with some of the things that are going on, but obviously I haven't come to the meetings. I haven't participated in those meetings. I did work for the select board for the better part of 8 years and 5 years as administrative assistant. I am happily retired. I don't know that I want to get back into the fray, but I was asked by a few people if I wouldn't consider taking the seat that Will was vacating. Simply because I know the territory a little bit. I've got some experience in town hall. I've got some experience with select board issues. I've handled most of the issues that, of course, these are new times, obviously, with COVID-19. And these meetings are unbelievably odd, to say the least, and not enjoyable, I'm sure, for anybody, and not productive in a way that other meetings face-to-face might be or could be. That having been said, I do have some experience, and I'm not angling for a position. I'm not necessarily looking for it. I was asked if I would consider, and I said that I would for the term until March that Will was vacating. I didn't know that anybody else had applied. I'm glad that Sherwood has. And that's about where I am. If you have questions for me, I mean, I've worked with all of you in the past, some for many years, some many terms. And I think you know who I am and what I may be able to offer. But as I say, I'm happily retired. I just received 8 plus minus cord of wood that needs to be cut and split and stacked. And it's hot. I have a lot that I'm trying to do in my life. But if there is a way that I can help the town or help the select board, I am willing to put in some time to do that. And that's about all I have. If you have questions for me, I'm obviously right here.
Well, Craig, thank you
Thank
for
Craig.
throwing your
Any
hat in the
questions
ring.
for Craig?
Yes, Craig, thank you for throwing your hat in the ring. Like, just reiterating what you said, we have all worked with you in the past, so we know who Craig is. We know the benefits that you bring to the position and to the town. So I'm very comfortable with the Craig Hunt that I know, and I don't have any specific questions for him.
Anyone else have any questions for Craig? No, hearing none. Craig, I would just say thank you for expressing interest in the position. And I'm not sure what happens next. I think we need to speak to Sherwood and then at some point make a decision.
Yeah,
whether that happens this evening or not, I'm not sure.
I know Sherwood. He's a good man. I'm pleased that he has thrown his hat into the ring as well. If I were appointed, I certainly do have questions for the board. It's been a while since I've actually talked with regard to specifics about what is going on with regard to COVID-19 and with regard to tax rates and all of that. I'm not up to speed. As I say, I have worked with, I believe, all of you except with Carla. I should probably sign off, and I would hope to get a phone call, or we'll talk to somebody tomorrow, if that's all right. And I know that Sherwood has an update to provide you with, and I'm very pleased with his efforts in over the last many months. This has been an impossible position for him. It's an impossible position for all of you, obviously, I wish you all well, and I will sign off if there is nothing further.
Thank you, Craig.
Thank you, Craig.
Thank you, Chris.
Be in
Craig.
touch.
All right.
So Sherwood, would you like to just talk to the board a little bit about your interest in serving?
Sure. As you know, we've been working pretty close together in the response and planning group, and I was surprised to see Will leave the board. Very much appreciated all of the help and input that he gave. And when I heard about that, I thought that, you know, I've been around what's going on in town for quite a bit lately, and have an idea of what is happening or what is going on in town with the COVID thing, with a few other things. I mean, I don't have the experience, honestly, that Craig had when he was select board assistant. But I felt like I could help and at least get us to March, when the voters in town could decide for a full replacement. I had experience over the last 3 years. Yeah, I'm on my 3rd term as emergency management director. I've had history with law enforcement in this area, and I've been in town for about 22 years now. So just willing to give you a hand in getting things accomplished.
Great. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Sherwood specific to this matter? No?
Sherwood,
I would
thank
say
you.
to you also, thank you for your interest. Really.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Sherwood.
Yes,
You're
Sherwood,
welcome.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Crystal, do you want to go right to the update so you can get to business, or do you want to wait?
Yeah, could we do that? Is that okay with the board to just take the agenda out of order so that Sherwood can do his updates for us?
Yes.
And then
Yes.
sign off?
So moved.
Second.
First thing,
Thank
okay.
you.
First thing I have is the building security. Today, the locksmith came to the town hall and the fire station and replaced the locks. The combination locks are active on the front and back door. The key override. There are 2 keys with the town clerk so that she can rent the hall as she needs to when we're able to do that. Carla has the key combinations for the board members, and the town clerk has the key combinations for the other people that will be accessing the building, the listers, and whoever else the board feels that that's a necessity to give to. I didn't go any further than just the people that are actually in the building every day. And for the time being, from what I would recommend to you, that it stay that way to just the people that are working physically in the building every day until after we get past this COVID thing and get into a more stable environment. The fire department, the door locks were failing on the front of it. The combination lock that had been there for years, it actually locked a couple of people out. There was an improvisation made, but now they're replaced. They're all coded the same, and there is bypass for that as well. As far as COVID goes, 1st of August started the mandatory masks issue. The state has come down with providing masks for the general population. They will provide us as a town with 25% of our population to distribute masks to anybody that may need them. We do not have them yet. There hasn't been a plan to distribute yet. It won't be until we actually get them, but I'm looking at maybe a box around the town clerk's office when it's open, and maybe a distribution day at the fire department or something like that, where somebody can just come in and pick some up if they need them. As far as the overall COVID thing, we're kind of in a, I hate to say it, the same type of scenario, but in a lot of ways we are. Things open up a little bit and they close down a little bit. Massachusetts just a couple of days ago closed down. They had like us a maximum amount of people you could have in an open air event, like the state of Vermont's 150. Well, they cut theirs in half. New Hampshire and Maine have had counties that have gone from green zones to yellow and red zones, which restrict travel and require quarantining. So we're just kind of in this flux period, and I think we're going to see that until there's some kind of an antivirus vaccination that comes out. There's going to be times when it's heavy and there's going to be times when it's light. I don't foresee, based on what I've been hearing, that there's going to be a lot more opening up right now. But that's a possibility. And then the worst thing is you open it all up and then you have to close it all back down again. So I think that's where they're being cautious. And the biggest conversation is what to do about school. How school is going to look, how sporting events are going to look. We, as the emergency management coordinator in town, I'm going to put together a meeting with the town, at least the town school, Valley Cares, the hospital, the different entities that are part of our community here in the real near future to discuss where we're at in the preparation for opening up school in this area.
I have a question for you, Sherwood.
Shoot.
Have you contacted Craig Roach about the elementary school and how they plan on dropping off and picking up their kids there?
I haven't had a conversation with Craig or the high school yet about that. Do you have something that you'd like relayed? Or are you just looking for information?
No, I think you probably should get a hold of him and get what his thoughts are on it, because I think he already has agenda for it. And I think it'd be easier for you to talk to him face to face.
I will do that. No problem. I plan on talking to Bill Anton and Bob Thibault and Craig Roach probably within the next week or so to get some of those ideas flushed out.
I heard Governor Scott today he resumed school sports, that when school started that sports could be resumed, looking a little bit physically different. So we didn't, I mean, obviously I think it's up to each school, but I know that happened today.
Yeah, there's a lot of things in flux about school and openings and what it's going to look like. I know the last time that I was part of a briefing about schools, they were talking about a very different look to the school year but they still hadn't totally fleshed out what it was going to look like. They've got ideas, they've got plans, they've got input. I just haven't seen anything documented about it yet. And that's
Does
all.
anyone have any other questions for Sherwood this evening?
Nope.
I'll be listening.
Okay, thank you, Sherwood.
I'll be listening in case something comes up.
Thanks, Sherwood.
Great, thank you, Ann. So going back to the agenda for this evening, we have additions and deletions. Anything to add?
The correspondence letter
Moving on.
for,
Let's go to the
HCRS.
warrants, Rob,
wait, Crystal?
down below.
Yes, I'm still here.
Yes, there's
Make a
a,
motion to pay check warrant number.
yes, there is a letter from HCRS. I put that under correspondence.
Okay. Sorry, Rob.
It's all right. Where are we? Want warrants?
Warrant.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 1, payroll in the amount of $14,605.63.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying check warrant number 1 in the amount of $14,605.63 signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 2 out of the payroll tax in the amount of $5,932.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying warrant number 2 of payroll tax in the amount of $5,900.32 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 3 out of the general fund in the amount of $1,812.60.
Second.
For a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying warrant number 3 of the general fund in the amount of $1,812.60 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 4 out of the general fund in the amount of $13,165.19.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying payroll, paying warrant number 4 of the general fund in the amount of $13,165.19 signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 5 out of the highway fund in the amount of $2,296.68.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying highway warrant number 5 in the amount of $2,296.68 signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 6 out of the equipment fund in the amount of $1,419.78.
Second.
Any discussion? None, all those in favor of paying warrant number 7 out of the equipment fund in the amount of $1,419.78 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Thanks, Rob. So moving on to reports. Let's start with the highway report. Steve?
So last meeting, we discussed an issue with the fuel tank with Barrows and Fisher. That repair was made. The tank is no longer red tagged. The roadside mower will be delivered on Monday, a week from today. In our cold storage shed, we still have the old John Deere tractor that's been split in half from the previous crew and has been in storage ever since. If there's any interest with the board, we can put it out however you want to get rid of it, whether it's a sealed bid or whatnot. But I'd like to get that out of the cold storage shed.
I'd make a motion to put the John Deere out there to open bid to take it and remove it from your hands with no money invested into it and no work done to it. Just they take it and they leave with it. No strings attached.
And that would include a mower deck and a snow
Is there a
blower.
second? Could I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion?
Should we give an explanation of what it is, Steve?
So I believe the model is a 755 John Deere four-wheel drive compact tractor. It is split in half because the mechanical issue was the front PTO drive shaft out of the rear case blew a bearing, and it was operating for a period of time after the bearing blew, and it ovaled out the hole where the bearing and the seal goes, so it cannot be repaired. New over-the-counter parts are not available for that tractor. You would have to find something used, on the internet, or possibly take the housing to a machine shop, have it all welded in and re-machined.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Oh, here comes the thunder.
Steve, isn't there two snowballs?
Yes,
One
there
for
is.
parts?
Yeah, there's a mower deck, and there's two snow blowers. One is a good snow
That's what I was
blower,
gonna
and
say. I
one is
thought
a bad snow blower.
Yeah. One of them is for parts.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Should we put a minimum bid on it?
Sure, I would.
What would be your suggestion?
$500?
Sounds good.
So someone want to make a motion that we
Steve
put
Frick,
that,
the John Deere mower out to bid with a minimum of $500 on it for all the accessories that go with it, and whatever the make and model of it was.
Second.
second? Any other discussion? Okay, so we'll make a motion to approve. Rob, will you repeat that for me, please?
I made the motion to put the John Deere, whatever make and model it is, with the
Okay.
accessories for it, at a minimum bid of $500 to the town of Townsend.
Excellent. And it was seconded, so all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Anything else on your report, Steve?
Yeah, I have another item. Crystal, I think you, Will, and myself were copied on an email from the Vermont Department of Environmental Conservation in regards to a transfer station inspection that happened at our transfer station on July 9th that needs action. So I would like to have it put on the agenda for the next meeting, and that copies be made to the people that haven't received copies of the inspection, as well as a copy of our agreement with Vermont Agency of Natural Resources in regard to our solid waste management facility certification.
Move.
So we'll bring that forward at the next select board meeting. Yeah.
Yes.
Carla, are you able to add that to the agenda for next time and then share the documents with folks that don't have a copy of it yet? Thank you. Great.
Yeah.
Anything else, Steve?
No, I'm all set. Thank you.
Thank you. So under the highway portion here, I have looks like two sealed envelopes that Carla gave me this afternoon, right? This is a crushing bid, and this is the BRG bid.
How many bids did you receive for each one?
I'm assuming they're open. I have one of each, one bid for one. One for the crushing bid, there's one. Sorry, I'm just opening this now. This is from Hunter Excavating, South Londonderry, Vermont. Project scope of work, gravel crushing services at the Townshend gravel pit, equipment and operations to be supplied, including 490 excavator, 644 bucket loader. There's a jaw and cone crusher screening plant for 1 1/4 inch gravel product and 2 inch stone. There's an estimated volume here, and the project is not to exceed budgeted $40,000.
How much a yard for the gravel?
This says crushing based on estimated volume of 6,723 cubic yards. CY is cubic yard, I'm guessing. It's $5.95 a cubic yard.
Okay.
So we
Thank
have
you.
one bid. You're welcome. The other one is, sorry, it's big enough. This bid comes from A.S. Clerk and Son. Town of Townshend, dated the 30th of July. This is invitation to bid on ditch stone line and check dams where applicable per Act 64 specs. And sorry, this is looking like the bid amount is $23,100. The completion date on this bid would be by September 30th, 2020.
So the 23-1 fits
So
within
my
our
question is, that was my first question. And
So the grant,
estimated
the Better
date
Road
of completion is September 30th.
The Better Roads grant is $20,000. The town's match is $5,000. So we're within the budget.
Who is the bid from?
A.S. Clark.
Oh, okay.
Only 2 people showed up for that bid.
This
Pre-bid
bid is
meeting?
from A.S. Clark, yes.
A.S. Clark
Yeah, no,
and
that's what I-
Larry Gould was the other one.
But Larry didn't show up, did he?
Yes, he did. He did show up. He said he
Oh.
was going to put a bid in, but now that he's a one-man show, I guess he didn't put a bid in.
Probably.
So do we want to, can I have a motion to accept these bids as they're offered?
So moved.
Second?
Is there a second?
Yes, second.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
I think it's sad that we don't get anybody else to bid on these things.
You know, the gravel crushing bid I put out to Hunter, Bazin Brothers, and Chaves. And Bob Bazin called me and he asked me questions about the pit. He hadn't been in there in a few years, and he said he was going to bid it, and he didn't. Hunter was supposed to show up with Clark and Larry Gould for the Wiswald Hill Deer Valley project. he totally forgot about it. So,
All right, from now on, I make the motion that if they don't show up for the bidding, that they don't get any chance to bid on it. If they do bid on it, we'll not accept it.
I agree.
Seconded.
So all those in favor of accepting these two bids for work to be completed. This one does not have an end date on it. These two bids signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Thank you.
Hey, I got a question, Steve.
So,
Steve, when is it, that other bid on Plum Hill that Hunter's supposed to do, when are they gonna get that done?
He's starting to deliver the stone right now. I gave him a spot in the pit to put the stone, and he'll be starting it, I believe, by the Wednesday of next week.
No, I was just curious because there's a deadline on that one, right?
Yes, that's also the end of October.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yes.
No, I
He's
just
starting,
wondered
I
if
believe,
it-
next Wednesday.
Yeah, no, all right, if you're starting on it, fine.
so Carla, I'll just bring these two documents back to you tomorrow at the town office.
That sounds great.
Great. All right, next, where are we? Next item on the agenda is the town clerk, the town treasurer. You shall have a copy of the over-the-counter money. And in the account, excuse me, I'll be right back. Let's see. And so money in the coffers, in one account, there's $682,227.19. And the sweep account has $30,000 in it.
That's backwards. The sweep account is the $682,227.19, and the checking account is $30,000.
Thank you, Carla.
Mhm.
Appreciate that. Okay, under correspondence, we have a handwritten letter from Charlie Martin on behalf of the Townshend Historical Society. I'm hoping you all have a copy of this. I'm not going to read it because his handwriting is a little challenging to read, but in essence, it's just some updates on the bridges and brook activities in and around town. And the Townshend Historical Society has been grateful to Steve and the road crew for the work that they've done. He does ask a question about the West Townsend Bridge and whether the town has heard any news regarding the small structure grant, I believe is what that says.
Yes. That is what it says, I believe. That's what my hieroglyphic reading can say.
Do we know if we have any update on that grant?
There are no updates on the small structure
We don't
grants
know.
at this.
We'll find out. Thank you, Steve. And the second page is really curbing on the bridge and the discussion around changing the name of the Negro Brook. Charlie is just, the Historical Society is voted to not object to a name change. And he's also updating us, the next library board meeting is in October. Correspondence from Charlie. Historical Society. We also received a letter from HCRS dated August 5th, just briefly says, writing to thank you and the residents of Townsend for their vote on town meeting day approving financial support in the amount of $1,100 for healthcare and rehabilitation services Access Navigator program. We sincerely appreciate the support from the citizens of Townsend. These funds will help to ensure services for all citizens who are in need of them. So again, thank you for your support. George Kirkbucklis signed that letter for us.
On that grant,
public we already touched on.
wait a minute. On that grant business for the Historic Society, number 3 said that they had received, somebody had received notice that they received the USAID grant applied for at 81% of the. We thank the town and the planning commission and stuff. Number 3 on that letter.
Correct. That is number 3 on the letter. I didn't. Yes, that they are very grateful to multiple agencies in town for.
But it says at 81%. At least that's the way I read it.
Yes. Yes, that's, yes. Is there any other discussion on that line item in this letter? Okay, moving on, back to old business. We covered the first 2 items, COVID-19, thank you, Sherwood, and the town hall and fire station security keypads. Thank you also for doing that, Sherwood. The next one is mowing the Taft Meadow and the ball field bids.
Them bids have already been gone out and over with. That was last meeting.
Well, we did.
We
yes, I realize that, Irv. We do have another bid, and
yeah, but you can't take bids after your bid deadline.
Thank you, Irv.
You're going to do that, you might as well not even bother to put it out, but just say somebody mow it and ask and give you a price.
Irv, we had to extend the bid process because the select board didn't come to an agreement last meeting.
Yeah, but that's not how a bid works. You put a bid in and it's supposed to be a sealed bid. You hand your sealed bids in and that should be the end of it. And
that's right. You don't put it, you don't turn around and rebid it. You just got to either work with it or come to some conclusion. Then if you do, you have to rebid it. If you don't come to a conclusion, but you don't just turn around and put it out to bid.
After it's already been bid on.
No, after it's been bid, you don't. This is town. This is not private.
so what would the board like to do about mowing the Taft Meadow and the 2 bids that we had previously on the agenda? This one is outside the bidding window is what you're saying, Irv, which it's dated the 6th of August, so that would be correct.
As far as I know, you had a bid and you accepted it.
No, we didn't. And I'm sorry, and I don't mean to interrupt, except that I was told to put it back out to bid with an extended bid date.
That ain't the way I understand this bid business. In your municipal business, you don't just do as you think you ought to.
I didn't. I was told to do it.
Yeah, but you put a bid out and there was a accepted timeline. After the timeline, you're not supposed to keep bidding. And that's how you end up with a lower bid, is by accepting or not accepting it, but putting it out to bid and then re-entering bids so that the people that are re-entering the bids can see what has already been bid on, and they're just only going to go lower. And therefore, if you had a free enterprise, that enterprise would be going by the lowest bid, which has already, the deadline has already come and gone. So it's like you can't keep.
I understand that part of it, but no decision was made last meeting. And I was asked to read.
Open bidding.
Whoa, wait a minute. They did accept that bid. And just because they weren't happy with the timeline, you're going to change it again?
You're only going to come up with a lower bid. So if that's how it works, we just keep going and bidding until the people that were going to accept the bids were happy with the bid.
It don't work that way.
Thank you, Irvin.
From my recollection and my understanding, the select board did not take a bid, or they did not accept a bid at the last meeting for the mowing. I was asked to read.
Oh, wait a minute. Somebody made the motion to accept it.
It didn't pass, though. There was two motions
Neither
made,
bid
and neither one
passed, Irv.
passed.
And I was
All right,
asked,
nobody said it. There was nothing said about rebidding it. Nothing.
Not during a meeting, that's correct.
That's right. And then it should have been either stated that
Okay, I
they
think
were
we've
going to put it in
established
rebid or
that.
nothing. I don't know why the hell. I've been in this stuff long enough, so I know you don't just turn around and do stuff on because you want to.
It's got to be done during a meeting.
That's right.
well, I apologize. I was asked to put it out by the previous chairperson because we didn't have a bid that had passed.
I'm sorry, but that don't work that way.
If
Well,
you
I
were
apologize.
So how would you like to
a $100,000 building and you wanted to keep kicking the can down the road, you would find somebody to build it for 80,000, and then you'd find somebody to build it for 76, and whoever was the hungriest would be the one bidding after the bidding was already gone by. We put a deadline out, and you can either approve it or not approve it. But after you approve it, you can't keep accepting bids because they already seen what the sealed bid is. So like if you wanted to do a mile of paving and they told you it was going to be $150,000 and you said, okay, I'm going to put it out to bid, you might find somebody from out of no man's land to come in and bid for less and less and less. And that's why it's a sealed bid, and that's why there's a deadline. And,
I do understand.
And also, that's why I said that these people that don't show up for when they have a showing, that you reject their bid. You don't just give it to somebody because he didn't show up and he comes in with a lower bid, you don't accept it.
And you have a valid point.
Okay, so clearly there was some miscommunication around rebidding or not rebidding, and you know, Carla, we made an error there. So the question remains: do we just move on? Do we just not mow the fields? Do we revisit these two bids that have already come in?
Well, you got to pump the septic tanks, which is coming up this fall, so the field has to be mowed.
Right. So how would you all like to proceed? I could use a little guidance here.
I'm abstaining.
Well, we could try to vote on the two bids that were originally submitted. I mean, it's too late now to rebid it. I mean, there's too many numbers out there. So I say we vote on the two bids that were originally submitted.
I need a second to that.
I abstain because I'm one of the bidders.
And I abstain because I'm one of the bidders.
So it's me and you, Crystal.
So I will second the motion. So would you like me to read the bids again, since they're in my hand? We have a bid in from Robert Wright, bid for mowing of Taft, Meadow, Ball Field, and Cemetery, $1,000 with a completion date, which we agreed to last meeting. Rob, can you refresh my memory around that?
I think I said 2021. By then.
I think he did too.
A second bid from Irvin Stoll for mowing the Taft field, the ball field, and the cemetery field, not to exceed $1,100. Again, with no completion date noted on here.
Okay, so here's the dilemma. Only 2 of us can vote on this. We can't pass it until we have a 3rd member,
Right.
a 5th member on the board.
That's right.
That's correct.
So we have to table this until we go into
So I would
executive
suggest that we
session.
table this conversation until we have a 5th member.
I would almost make more money to
Yep, we'll
quit the
table
board
it.
and accept my bid than I am to stay on the board and not accept the bid. I don't think you guys understand that either. Where it's like I put my time and energy, and Irv does too, and it's like either way we go, it's almost the same amount of money either way. And it's like it's not, you know, we got to get down to brass tacks here and getting things done.
Well, we can't pass it tonight with only 2 votes.
Okay, so let's move on from that topic.
We're on the VSP letter.
We are moving on to the VSP letter dated August 10th. On behalf of the town of Townsend, Carla generated a letter to the Department of Public Safety, Vermont State Police, asking for discussion and inviting members of the Vermont State Police to possibly attend a select board meeting. So we're waiting, Carla, we're asking for a couple of dates that they may be able to be available, and we're waiting to hear back from them. That's all there is on that. And moving on to Veggie Van Gogh truck update. Carla, you were checking in with the Army Corps of Engineers.
Yes, I finally spoke with somebody
Note this
today.
afternoon indicated that you did speak to someone, and they were going to check with.
Yeah, their powers that be, and we should get a call back within the next couple of days. The gentleman I spoke with couldn't give me an answer about it.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We have anything under new business? Hearing nothing, I would entertain a motion to move into executive session under 1 VSA 313A3.
Second.
Thank you.
All right. Please bear with me for a second while I ask Helen and Rich to go into the waiting room. Okay. And Rich, I do believe that we will come out of executive session with a motion. So
Okay,
please bear
just
with us.
Motion.
let me back in.
Okay. I'll try to remember.
You got to vote.
I did vote aye. Yep.
Not to make it
I know,
easier, you
the
had
Zoom
to.
thing is crazy. Everything is, it has such a delay behind it. It's kind of crazy. Anyway, anybody
Oh, yeah.
opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Congratulations, Sherwood.
He left.
Is he back with us?
No, Sherwood left when we went into
Okay.
executive.
Okay, is there any other business that needs to come before the board? If not, our next meeting is scheduled for August 25th at 6:30, and I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Great. We are officially adjourned. By my watch, it says 7:40 p.m. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Crystal.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Crystal.
Good job, Crystal.
Have a good night, everybody. Yeah, thank you.
You too. I'll touch base tomorrow.
Great. Good night.